Guys, we are going to go over special right triangles today. The first thing I want you to take a look at is the special right triangles charts that we made in class. So remember there's two different types of special right triangles. The first one is the 45, 45, 90 triangles. Remember the ratios for the 45, 90 triangles. To go from the leg to the hypotenuse, you're going to multiply by the square root of 2. To go from the hypotenuse to the leg, you're going to divide by the square root of 2. And then also remember that the legs are equal on a 45, 45, 90 triangle. The second type of special right triangle is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And the following are the relationships on that one. So to go from short leg to hypotenuse, you're going to multiply by 2. To go from the short leg to the long leg, you're going to multiply by the square root of 3. To go from the hypotenuse to the short leg, you're going to divide by 2. To go from the long leg to the short leg, you're going to divide by the square root of 3. Remember on these, you cannot go directly from the hypotenuse to the long leg or from the long leg to the hypotenuse. You have to find the short leg first and use that as a stepping stone. Okay, so we are going to go over here to Delta Math and go to this example. So this says find the length of side x in simplest radical form with a rational denominator. Okay, now if you'll remember from class, you have to rationalize the denominator when you're working with radicals. So we're going to go ahead and go over this. First thing you need to do is determine what type of triangle this is. If you see this 60 and this 30 here, that means we are working with a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So we're going to use that second chart. Also, the x is opposite the 30-degree angle. That means that this piece is our short leg and this piece is the long leg. So we're going to go over here to our chart and we're going to look at long leg to short leg. So to go from long leg to short leg, all we have to do is divide by the square root of 3. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. So the long leg is square root of 7. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to take the square root of 7 and I'm going to divide that by the square root of 3. Now if you enter this in on a regular calculator, it is going to give you a decimal answer. Delta Math will not accept the decimal answer. It will count it wrong. So I'm going to show you how to rationalize that denominator. So if you have a radical on the bottom of a fraction, you have to rationalize it, which means you're going to take both the top and bottom times that number. So I'm going to take the top times square root of 3. I'm going to take the bottom times square root of 3. Okay, so on the bottom, square root of 3 times square root of 3 becomes square root of 9, which is just 3. The top, square root of 7 times square root of 3 gives me the square root of 21. So now I have the square root of 21 over 3. Okay, the square root of 21, we cannot break that down anymore, so we're going to leave it just like that. So then when we go back over here to Delta Math, my answer should be square root 21 divided by divided by 3. We're going to submit that answer. Okay, and then it shows that that's correct and then walks you through why it's correct. Now, I know that rationalizing fractions is a little bit difficult, so if you want to use the decimal answer, that's fine. So I'm going to show you how that works as well. Okay, so this one, we have x and we have 7. So remember when you're multiplying here, this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So that means to go from leg to hypotenuse, we're going to multiply by the square root of 2. So on my calculator, I'm going to go ahead and get that out here. I'm going to take 7 times the square root of 2. Then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, that gives me the decimal 9.899, so I'm going to round that up to 9.9. Okay, I'm going to select yes. Now, if you'll notice, it did count that answer wrong. But since we didn't spend a lot of time in class over rationalizing the denominators, I will accept the decimal answer. So if you want to put the decimal answer, just know that it is going to count it wrong. But when I go back to check your work later, I can see that you actually did put a correct answer. So this is the only lesson you can kind of get by with that. Again, if you put the decimal answer, that's fine, and then you can just use your calculators when you're doing the fractions. But it will count it wrong on Delta Math, but I will adjust your scores. So that's up to you which way you want to do it. you have any questions, let me know.